Hi everybody, Roger here. Before showing the main part of my video, I wanted to add some final afterthoughts. During my time editing this footage, I carefully watched each piece over and over and over again. And with this, I realized things I didn't realize earlier. Mostly some derogatory phrases being said to Pamela Sharma and the two women with her. They were told a couple of times to go back to their country, once clearly by the Native American man who confronted them. Most anyone would take offense to being told this. I'm aware of Sharma also telling the black woman recording to go back to a slave ship. Both aforementioned statements are radically insensitive and uncalled for. We still don't know the way the debacle started. The story could have unfolded in numerous ways. Maybe Fowler did begin stating racist remarks when confronted by Sharma, and maybe she had been yelling East Indian racist remarks before recording began. We've seen tons of footage with people of color, I am one myself, begin yelling just as bad and as loud as Sharma has done so here, but their actions are usually forgiven by their respective communities. What makes this one any different? Maybe Sharma was offended by having a black woman coming up to her to restock items and says something racist to Fowler. We don't know. Until more evidence comes out, all we have is this footage to go by. Each individual statement of who stated what, neither one of them provide actual event information that took place prior to the recording. We only have their personal statements to go by, and that's just hearsay. While I do mostly side with Fowler in this scenario, I still can't just take a side without knowing the overall events that took place prior to recording. None of this excuses Sharma's extremely racist rhetoric whatsoever. But could it be possible that something was stated about her East Indian Hindu origin in a racist way that could have triggered her to act this way? Yes, it's possible. We have seen countless videos and evidence showing when someone is attacked because of their race, most likely they will attack back with racist remarks as well. So this is something that is not surprising, and it's not uncommon. But the mistake would be to take anyone's word for it at this time when the whole story has not been told. With this, my video begins. Thank you.
You shut up! You're a black slave! You need to go back on some goddamn shit!
Hey everybody, Roger here. Hopefully you guys are having a great Friday. I want to talk about something that is not in the news, and it should be in the news. I'm not sure why it's not in the news. Actually, I have some theories in my head as to why. But here goes. There's basically an instance in Georgia at a local dollar store, and it's in regards to a cashier who was working a separate register. Her name is Alise Fowler, and Alise Fowler was she was doing her own thing at a different register, I guess, and then in the register in front of her was a customer. It was a woman who had her sister with her, and I believe their mom. It doesn't disclose who the third person is, but the age comes out eventually as her being 60, and it seemed like it was the mom. So, anyways, these three people are buying stuff, and I guess they didn't want a couple of items. And Alise Fowler, the black cashier, again, that's very, very important to notice, is that she's black. The black cashier on another register says, hey, if you can, it's alleged that she claims that she asked the three people, hey, the stuff that you don't want, just put it aside or give them to me and I'll go restock them. That's the story, I believe, from Alise Fowler.
Alise Fowler says it all started on Wednesday when this customer, whose face we chose to blur because she's not charged with a crime, left an item she decided not to buy at the register. Fowler tells me she told the customer to just hand the item to her instead so she could put it back. Fowler says that's when the customer became irate.
She called me a black. She told me to go back to Africa. She told me she'll shoot me.
The main antagonist in here, the customer, again, alleged antagonist, this is how I'm seeing it, Pamela Sharma is her name. Pamela decides that to just start yelling out of nowhere. So apparently there was somebody who started recording this video and this footage that we are now privileged to have, and it starts off like with them yelling at each other. So we're missing the supposed scenarios between the two people and their claims of what happened, and so what we get here is the video starts off with them arguing. You can hear Alise saying, I will take both you and your sister down. You know, I think that's how the video starts. There was a couple of words from Pamela Sharma initially when the video starts, but you really can't make out what it says. And then from there, after Alise says, you know, I'll take both you and your sister down, the yelling it goes crazy. I mean, it's just, Pamela just goes off on a tangent.
I will wear you in your out. Shut up! Please, I will wear you out up in this damn store. Come out here, you stupid monkey! Stop.
These handles.
According to her, we're all trash!
And starts screaming out some racial slurs, things that are very derogatory. She starts, you know, calling them black slaves.
You shut up! You're a black slave! You need to go back on some goddamn shit!
Hey. All of these words that are coming out of her mouth, black mama, stupid donkey, go back to Africa. You know, the Pamela Sharma is just being very disgusting throughout this whole thing, and she's not adding to her credibility with the reactions.
Do you consider yourself racist?
No, and I'll tell you why. Due to the inculcation of my own being as an entity.
So during this this altercation, Sharma decides to go ahead and spew out, I am a teacher, I'm educated, you know, I have a better education, and, you know, my job is better than your dollar store job, things to that extent.
Because you're gonna lose your dollar store job over my physics education! Oh, shut up! You couldn't even get a college education! Your mama was a pimp! Not even a prostitute!
So she's basically, you know, it's kind of a class, she's both being a racist and, you know, and judging by class, and to me that's one of the lowest things anybody could ever do. Anyways, she clouts her education, she puts other people down in the store, you know, dollar store jobs, what she says over and over again, and then it gets so out of control. A Native American man from the back of the line comes up to the front and starts asking them questions. Where are you from? You should go back to where you come from, you know. So,
hey, let me tell you something. See this right here?
What is that?
Where you from?
Oh.
Where you from?
Oh.
Where you from? Tell me where you from.
Oh.
Why don't y'all go back?
You need to call 911. Call 911. Call 911.
Let me tell you something right quick.
What are you trying to say? Where are we from?
Let me tell you something.
Why we ain't right? I mean, what are you
Call
trying to say?
911.
Say where you
Why you-
from?
Call
Why
911.
you showing out?
Look, my dad is an Air Force fighter pilot.
Calm down.
Not your
Your
little dog.
dad ain't dead nothing. Calm down.
Mommy, what are you trying to say?
Call 911.
Don't talk to my sister. No. Don't talk to my sister.
Baby, you sound like a hoot. You're a hoot. You're a hoot.
I think this whole thing started out with people talking about origins of somebody's country, and I'm not sure if it was Sharma talking or saying that to the black cashier, or if it was vice versa, or if it was a combination of both. We don't know how it really started. Everything at this point is just hearsay. You know, all the things that Sharma was doing were just out of control whack. So something either must have really, really, really triggered her, or that's just her nature, or whatever. I don't know. And yet, in the news interview later on, after this whole scenario happened, and she sees herself on TV with that footage, she basically says that she started yelling like that at Fowler, at the cashier, because she was told to go back to her country.
I take it back to your country, well. I take it back to your country, well. I take it back to your country. Well,
this whole thing erupts. Everything is out of control. Then they talk about, you know, Sharma says, my husband served in the Air Force, you know, for our country, yada, yada, yada. Again, whatever, you know, that's great. That has nothing to do, that's not an argument in this scenario here. So she starts leaving the store, but then before she leaves, she starts blurting out some other things about lowlifes and their jobs, their low jobs.
Because you're gonna lose your dollar store job over my physics education. My dad is the Air Force fighter pilot and protects your ugly ass, you stupid son of a.
Come here.
Oh, shut up! You couldn't even get a college education. Your mama was a pimp, not even a prostitute.
And then the biggest one of them all, she says, she shouts, Jesus was white, not black.
Oh, shut up! That's why your Jesus was white and not black!
You gotta stay over there.
And then leaves the store. So now the other two people are in there, the sister of this Sharma girl, and I believe, again, the mother is never disclosed. So this man who's like right behind them in line, not the Indian guy, but somebody directly behind them, like says something. I'm not sure what he says, but then the sister yells at him and says, this is an A and B conversation and you don't know what happened.
I can show you the picture. You've been there, then respect your story. That's it.
You should have not in the conversation, sir, because you didn't know what was happening. You don't know who's right, you don't know who's wrong, you just took up for the flag. That's all that happened. That's all that happened.
But I'm pretty sure he does because everybody can hear what happened. So there is not an A and B conversation anymore when you are in the ears of at a high decibel with everybody else in the building. So no, lady, your sister, it was not an A and B conversation. It involved the entire store. You were wasting their time. You were holding up the line, and with your antics, you and your family, and that guy had a right to ask. It's not an A and B conversation. Get over yourself. So from there, the mother decides to go towards the back of the line and start talking or saying some things to one of the people, the Native American guy, about something, and it started getting a little heated. And then the Native American guy said something back to the old lady, and then the sister ends up running up to not running, but you know, forcing herself in front of this Native American guy and says, you're not behaving like a gentleman. She's 60 years old, you know, yelling at him and saying to not yell at her, to not yell at her mom. Again, I'm assuming mom.
I was ready for her, I know.
The Christmas is over.
If you were here,
So
you
what?
would have known
When
what
I walked
happened,
in,
sir.
when I walked
But you
in, I heard a
weren't
lot of
here, so
names
you don't
called.
know what happened.
I heard a lot of names called.
You are not behaving like a gentleman. You should not
Put your
have
fingers on me.
done
Don't put your fingers in my face.
And you what?
Hey, hold up
Why
a
did
minute.
you even
Hey,
come in?
don't talk to me. Turn around and get out of my face.
Look,
I'm not doing
look.
that. Hey, I told you. I done told
You
you.
respect people. You're an authority.
You know what respect
You know,
is.
she's
You know
60
respect
years
is.
old. I do. I was telling you.
I don't want to hear it.
You don't know what
Hey,
happened.
baby,
You're right. You don't want to hear it. You just want to tell
Ghetto,
them
give a
side
pure
of the
trash.
line.
You ain't number trash.
Please stop.
You ain't number trash.
Yeah, we are trash. You are double
You
trash.
ain't number pure trash.
So after that happens, after they started leaving, okay, after all this stuff happens, you know, the grandma moves to the front of the line again, and so does the daughter, and I guess they get their belongings or something, or the things that they bought, and they start leaving. So the lady with the video camera, and I think maybe the cashier lady, videotapes them outside. There's a white, I think it looks like a white Scion boxcar or a Kia, the boxcar, I don't know what you call it, like a van box, you know, the ones that all the people who smoke marijuana like to puff out of their windows driving in. Anyways, they're driving that, and the initial lady who left first, the really crazy one, they're all crazy, but the really crazy one, is driving, and she starts yelling, let me see your degree, to the people recording and the cashier. Let me see your degree, let me see your degree. You want to take my degree away? And then she just starts banging, Sharma just starts banging on the steering wheel, like all angrily and everything. And then the sister is in the back of the vehicle, and she pushes a shopping cart, and says, now you can't say that we didn't put the cart back or something. I don't know. Arguments that meant nothing. So, and then they rush off.
Drive off. Drive off. Drive off. Drive off. Drive off. Just please, ma'am.
Because whatever school she works for, they'll know. They'll know.
I know, but I'm just trying to diffuse it.
Like, I understand what she's saying.
They'll know. I don't gotta come to you.
You take away my degree.
I ain't say take away your degree. I said your job.
You racist piece of shit.
Who's racist? I don't see color. I never have.
Okay. You can go back and fix the store, okay? Now you can go back and fix the
We will. We will.
okay?
I'm not entertaining them.
In case you say we didn't return it.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Have an awesome New Year. God bless you.
That's the breakdown of the video footage in general. So after all that happens, Fowler decides that she's going to call WSB-TV's Audrey Washington, or WSB-TV, the news in her city, in Georgia. And Audrey Washington is the reporter that comes out. And as she comes out, you know, she is going with her to she's going to go record her entering the police station to file charges against Sharma for the assault. You know, she felt she was assaulted, and I can kind of argue that as well from what I see in the footage. And so Sharma ends up, okay, so this gets out in the news. Sharma, apparently, Pamela Sharma, decides to go call the news station and say she wants to give her side of the story. Well, her side of the story was this. She wanted to clear her name, and this is how she clears her name. She says, I was raised in a I was raised in a Christian school.
I was raised in a Christian school.
I was born into a Hindu priest class family.
I was born to a Hindu priest class family, which is last name Sharma, which I can prove online.
And that also she's not racist because she's part of a peace-loving individuals believing in Gandhiism.
I'm a part of the clergy of Brahmins, which are peace-loving individuals which believe in Gandhiism, which I even voiced. If my life doesn't matter to you and my people died, who were represented with Gandhi, your life doesn't matter to me either. Is that a racist comment?
And that these are reasons as to why she's supposedly not racist. And then the kicker is she thinks because credentials that she's not racist. She thinks of that. And that teachers are not racist because they're teachers.
Sharma tells me she's a highly educated former high school teacher and could never be a racist.
So I have taught not only at black schools, I've taught at Latino schools. We are going to teach all walks of life. We know that. Do they not know that?
But the kicker line here in this interview is when she says, I wasn't initially racist, and I wasn't racist in the middle. I only became racist when I was the victim of racism.
I wasn't racist initially. I wasn't racist in the middle. It's not until I became the victim of racism.
What? So you can trigger racism on and off. I don't get that. No, that makes absolutely no sense. This woman is an educator, apparently an educator, and this is her logic. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think that there's a real issue here with overall credibility of this lady, and you know she doesn't understand that I think she believes. Sorry, let me turn the lights here. I think she believes that the world revolves around her. I think this whole family does, and that's the whole problem with this thing is her. She believes she could belittle people. She believes she could do it freely. Again, I don't know the whole scenario, a couple minutes that happened before to instigate this whole tirade, but the video starts with them yelling at each other. It says that she wants Fowler, the Alise Fowler, the black cashier lady, Fowler, to come to come visit her and have a heart-to-heart.
Is there anything you would like to say to Alise at all?
Yes, I want you to come with me and have a heart-to-heart.
Unless there's footage that comes out that shows, you know, a completely different scenario early on, like a couple minutes before, to see what exactly triggered this whole event, both Fowler's and Sharma's details of this are hearsay at this point. Unless, again, you know, there were enough witnesses. If somebody could go in and give their testimony of what happened right before that video, then that would be a plus. But until then, it's just hearsay. What I personally feel happened is that for some strange, odd reason, she didn't like a black person helping her or coming up to her and obtaining the items so she can restock them. Maybe she wanted another person of a different race, because every word that came out of her mouth was black this, black that. You're a slave. You're nothing. I don't believe in classifying people in that sense. I do believe we all as people should support each other and better each other so we can be a productive society and get ahead in life and flourish, you know, for our future our generation and future. I don't believe we should be classifying people in that way. That's just my personal philosophy. And the way that I look at life. But for you to say something like that, it really shows your true colors. I mean, you're contradicting your statement where you say that you're not racist, but you were only racist for that time. Okay, so you're not contradicting that. If you as a person can change being racist to not racist, you know, like this, whatever, more power to you. I guess you have skills that I don't. Anyways, that's my take on this. I do think that this should be a bigger issue than the limited coverage it's gotten. I guess I'm gonna get to the highlights here. My personal opinion, I feel very sorry for Fowler, the black cashier, and also the lady. Thank you, by the way. I know you kept saying call 911 and everybody's bugging you about that, but you know what? You did what was right. Your phone can't do two things like that at once, recording and making phone calls, so you needed somebody else to take action and nobody did. Good on you. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this footage that is very valuable. My overall view is that, you know, Pamela was being very disgusting to all the black people that were in that store, and also to anybody that was belittled because of their class, you know, their status. I'm not saying I know what anybody's status was in this store, but, you know, for her to be judgmental like that, for Pamela to be judgmental like that, you're a sick individual. You know, it's going to take a lot and you're a teacher, you're an educator, you've already pointed that out. I don't know what kind of things you teach, but it doesn't sound like it's anything productive. Anyways, a couple of notes here. So Pamela Sharma is a bit actress, a bit part actress. She's had a coveted role in, get this, college student in towel on Big Mama's House. Get out your DVD or go torrent it and go watch that scene. I also did a Google search on this as well, like I told you guys earlier, and there are not any reports or news articles in regards to this. Maybe the Washington Post was probably the only one, and then everything else was local. Put that footage out there. There's footage on YouTube. I think all the videos on YouTube that I found for this were probably a total of like 10,000 total views, if that. So, and this happened on Monday. I mean, this started on Monday, and we're already in Friday. I really hope that Alise Fowler, you can recover from this. It was a disgusting thing what happened to you, and Pamela and your family. You guys need to grow up, grow a little bit more tolerant for classes of people and races of people. You got a lot of learning to do for being an educator. So that's just my 2 cents on this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out.